I absolutely love cinnamon roll buns. I'm sure you probably do too. They are so tasty. The chewy, soft, fluffy yeast dough, the cinnamon, the brown sugar, the butter, the melting cream cheese iced frosting. Oh, it's one of my greatest indulgences. It's a treat that I don't allow myself often, but I do love them. Now, if I buy them at the grocery store, it's full of hydrogenated shortening or palm oil, vegetable oil, all kinds of stuff that are really bad for me. And if I buy the ones made with butter from a little cinnamon bun shop, they're $10 a piece, $40 for a box. I mean, I can't afford that. Maybe you can't either. So today, I'm going to try something that I've never done before. I'm going to try making them myself by hand. And I tried yeast baking once 30 some odd years ago, and let me tell you, I failed. I made beautiful bricks, but it was not edible bread. So this is me attempting something where the possibility of failing is not small. But on my journey to a life made by hand and getting independent and doing more things by myself, I really want to learn new skills. So today, I'm going to try making my own cinnamon roll buns. Come along with me. This is not a tutorial. This is a make along. And let's hope it's not a fail along. Hi, I'm Mama Cass Bear. Welcome to my channel, Rematriate. This is a life way channel for radical homemakers. Here, we talk about creating a life made by hand. A life made by hand is one where we each of us, individually, and even more importantly, as members of a community web of care, live in relationship with our sacred land. We make and we grow everything that we need in our lives by the slow and patient work of our own hands. We will together gain and share skills, always learning how to meet each of our needs in this way. Here on Rematriate, we talk about how we each, both as individuals and together joining in community, can escape from this sick, evil society that we live in. This sick, evil society that we are all trapped in. I call our sick society Wetico culture, a term which was coined by Indigenous scholar Jack Forbes. All radical homemakers are escaping Wetico culture to make ourselves a home. This place is my beautiful home in the Canadian countryside. I call this place Wildernest. So, please, come inside my wildernest now and share some time with me. Come inside my kitchen while I try and learn this new skill, making cinnamon rolls myself, making them by hand so I don't have to buy them from someone else, so that I can get independent by doing it myself, and I can get healthy by only using real, natural ingredients. Taking another step towards creating a life made by hand.
I'll get back to self, back to peace. Breathe in, breathe out. Get back to self, back to peace. Let it flow.
when I decided that I was going to make cinnamon rolls, I went online and I dug around and I found what looks like a really good recipe. It claims to be a copy of Cinnabon, which is probably my favorite cinnamon roll. I grew up eating them. So I've used that one, and I have got not exactly the ingredients that she called for. She called for bread flour, and I couldn't find any, so I've got all-purpose flour. And I would have liked to have used dark brown sugar, but we apparently don't have any in the house. So I've got demerara, a light golden demerara, and I've got golden yellow, and I got lots of cinnamon. I did get instant yeast, which is what she said was what she used. So got that. And she said to warm up the ingredients. And this makes sense to me because yeast is a living organism and it needs to be within its optimal temperature range in order to reproduce. So I have been leaving the butter out on the counter for a couple of hours. I put the milk in a pitcher, a measuring pitcher, and I put it in a bowl of warm water. I had the eggs in the bowl of warm water for a little while, but when I moved them around to try and put more warm water in, I accidentally cracked them. So I had to open them. I had to crack the eggs. So I have the eggs sitting here, and I've been outside with Papa Bear working on the roof of the storage building, letting them warm up. So I had both of them covered with little plates to make sure that they were safe. So they've been sitting here warming up for quite a while. And I'm going to double check, make sure that everything is nice and warm. And we're going to start the first step, which is to put some of the ingredients in a large bowl and get the yeast going. Then we need to let it sit for a little while and work its magic. So the recipe says to do this in the bowl of a stand mixer. I don't have a stand mixer. I have my hand mixer. So I'm doing it in a big mixing bowl. And the first step is to put the warm milk, which I've now got to about body temperature, into the bowl. And then you're supposed to add, I checked the details in the recipe, and what she calls for, it's a different company. This is Fleischmann's. I don't know. She had a different brand, but this it's the same weight. It's 8 grams, which is about 2 1/4 teaspoons, and that's what she said to use. So that's what I'm using. So I'm going to cut one packet off. Cut it open. Okay. Wake up, yeasties! Time to go to work. Good morning. Oh, it smells really good. In there. Give them a little stir. Okay, hopefully this will break up the clumps. All right. Now we wait a few minutes and let the yeast wake up. Wake up, little yeasties. Come on. wake up, little yeasties? It's hard to tell. I think it smells slightly different than when I put it in there. If the yeast don't wake up, nothing happens. This is yeast baking. That's why I'm really hoping that I don't fail. Oh. Are you awake? Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. I think it looks like it's changing. I'm not seeing so many chunks. Oh. I don't know if it's warm enough. Okay, I'm going to try something to warm this up a little bit more, because I think it needs more warmth. So I had the eggs sitting basically in a bain-marie. I have a little silicone pot holder that I put under it in this pot, and I had it on my lowest heat setting on my stove. So I'm thinking that if I set the bowl on top of this, the heat's been off for quite a while. Hopefully, I mean, I can touch the pot. It's not too hot, but it's definitely hotter than the bowl. So maybe I should have microwaved the bowl to warm it up. Jeez, I don't know. See, I am certain that this is why I failed with yeast baking when I was younger. I was living in a basement apartment when Raven Cub was just a baby. We moved there because we couldn't afford the larger place we were in because I wasn't working anymore. So we moved to this basement apartment, and it was cold down there. And I think that's why things didn't rise. Now, the kitchen's nice and warm here because Papa Bear lit a fire last night. So it's been quite warm, and it's not really cold outside anymore. It's spring. So I'm hoping that it's not too cold. All right. I'm going to sit here and stare at this and talk to it for a little while. I can feel the heat coming up. I don't want it to get too hot, because if it's too hot, it'll kill the yeast. So I'm trying to add enough warmth, but not too much. Okay. I'm clearly very impatient. I've just added a half a cup of granulated sugar, which is what it calls for, because it's been in there for a couple of minutes and it hasn't started frothing. I would double check the recipe, and it said to sprinkle it on top and it should start to froth. So maybe I shouldn't have mixed it in, but it seemed to me that it needed to make contact with the milk in order to wake it up. So I've added the sugar, even though it said to wait and then add the sugar, the butter, and the eggs. So I'm just thinking that it may need more warmth, and the residual heat from this pot may not be enough because this is a very large ceramic bowl. So, and it doesn't feel actively warm. So I'm going to put it on my stove, on low heat, and see if that wakes it up. All right. I've got it on the heat. It's actually on medium heat, because this is such a big ceramic bowl. It's not warming up very quickly at all. But I've got a pot full of water under it. So, and as I said, it's on medium heat. I'm just gonna stand here and gently stir it so that it doesn't get too hot too quickly. And hopefully it will start to get some bubbles. So I don't know if you can see it, but I think it's starting to wake up. I left the heat on medium for a little while. The water in the bain-marie started to boil a little bit, so I turned it down to low. And I've kept my hand on the bowl the whole time to make sure it doesn't get too hot. But look, I think I'm seeing signs of life. It's live! It's live! Blah! Okay, so the yeasties woken up. Day is alive. Ugh. Good things. Definitely frothy. Very happy. So I melted the butter in the microwave, and I'm going to add it. Just gonna slowly add the ingredients that they said to add. God, I love butter. It's a superfood too, by the way. Your body really needs butter or some other source of saturated fat to be able to digest your food properly. And the cholesterol in saturated fat in butter is the building block for all of your hormones and your neurotransmitters. So if you're not getting enough saturated fat, I mean, if you live in a tropical area, you can eat coconut milk, coconut fat. Some people eat avocado. I can't. I have a food sensitivity to it, so I cannot eat it. But butter, I mean, there's a reason it tastes so good to you. And when it comes from grass-fed cows, it is full of so many amazing nutrients like vitamin A. That's why it has that golden color. It's the same reason that colostrum, which is the first breast milk that you give when you have a baby, is bright yellow, because it's so full of vitamin A. It's extremely nutritious. And your body can metabolize it, whereas it cannot metabolize hydrogenated vegetable oils, which is artificial shortening. So we can use lard, but butter tastes better. It's amazing. That's what makes cinnamon rolls taste so freaking good. Oh, look at you little yeasties. I'm so happy. Okay, so now I'm going to beat the eggs. I think they're still kind of warm. Before I add them to the mixture with the milk, sugar, yeast, and now butter. Oh, I hope I didn't cook those eggs. They look like they might be starting to cook. That's not what you want. Yeah, they do smell like they might have started to cook. So I warmed the eggs too much, and I didn't warm the milk enough. Trying to decide whether to use these, or they don't look that different, so I'm going to use them. Why not? Hopefully it doesn't make me fail. Okay, so let's add these eggs to the rest of the mixture, which I have taken off the stove. Seems to be mixing together well. So yeah, I probably warmed the eggs a bit too much, but I think not to the point of no return. Fingers crossed. Please, goddess. Okay, now I'm gonna go check the recipe because I think I need to add the flour next. And I don't think I want to add the salt to the flour because the salt theoretically should kill the yeast. Oh, I need to go double check. I checked the recipe, which means I have to stop filming because the recipe's on my phone and I film with my phone. So let's check the recipe. And yes, you do add the salt and the flour at the same time. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to mix the salt into the flour. It's 1 teaspoon of salt and 4 cups of flour. It's just whenever you mix anything into flour, it makes sure that it's combined much better. So I haven't done yeast baking, but I've done a lot of other baking, and I've been making pies for 40 some odd years, and we always combine the salt and other ingredients into the flour before we cut the lard into it. So that's why I'm doing this way. Okay, now let's start to add the flour. Oh, and yeah, the yeast is really foaming up, even despite the butter sitting on top of it. It's starting to do the work of combining it already. Oh, what a relief. Now, mind you, when I did make bread, although these many years ago, the first rising turned out okay. It was the second rising where I didn't get anything. I put the dough into the loaf pans and set it aside to rise, and it didn't double in size like it's supposed to. So I was not happy. And again, I think that's because that kitchen in that apartment was so cold down there in the basement. So I'm thinking I might even start a fire a little bit later and set the dough bowl right here on the end of the counter, which is near the wood stove, in order for it to get nice and warm while it has a second rising. So we'll see, maybe. As I said, I knew this was going to take me all day. And I've been outside a little bit helping Papa Bear with the roof on the storage building, which we had never finished shingling. Oh, he's been working on that. And I was out helping him a little bit. And once I get this dough to the point where it needs to sit and rise, I'll probably go out and help him a little bit more, although we're starting to lose light. It's still very early spring, and so up here in Canada, we don't have polar night, mind you, and even where they do have polar night, they're not in polar night anymore, but still, it gets dark well before when it does in the heart of the summer. I'm throwing flour everywhere. That's not a good idea. I think I might have to discard this whisk. I love these silicone spatulas. I've picked some of them up at the dollar store. You can find good stuff there. I don't have a lot of money for stuff, so The dollar store is where I go for things a lot of the time. If you're broke like me, I'm sure you know about that. Oh, this feels warm. Now, I don't have a lot of experience working with dough, as I said, because I stopped trying with yeast baking many years ago. But I do enjoy working with pastry. And now, mind you, it's not as sticky as dough. But I've heard that the secret to dough is to knead it well. And I don't have a stand mixer. As I said, I got my hand mixer. That's what I'm gonna use. Okay. Alrighty. Here we go. Oh, this feels so nice and warm and squishy.
Just got up.
See, I know, I get it. I'm boring. The things that give me great joy, other people are like, whatever. But, and this is probably because I'm autistic, small things give me so much joy. This is actually, I wish you could smell this. It smells so good. Oh my goodness. And it's warm and yeah, so I'm just gonna play with this and stretch it. Have fun. And I can't stop filming because my hands are covered in dough. So I might edit this a bit later.
Stars are bright, I called you up just to hear your voice on the machine. Nothing will be like it was, but you will always be my first choice. Just as it seems.
I'm just trying to get it all combined, get all the flour into it. I'm thinking it wouldn't have been the worst idea in the world to have a little bit more milk here, because I know that the dough is supposed to be sticky. And I'm thinking maybe it's not got enough liquid in it. But just like with pastry, the trick with pastry is learning over time and experience what the pastry dough is telling me. Learning how to know when it's at the right point. And so, you know what? This dough is starting to come off my hands now. I think I'm going to get a little bit more milk to add to this. I have a sneaking suspicion it needs it. Okay, I got another half a cup of milk and I warmed it up in the pot on the stove, basically like a double boiler, a bain-marie, and got it nice and warm, and I put a little bit more butter in as well, and I'm just pouring it over the butter in the hopes of melting it a bit. And now I'm going to see, I think this might give us what we need to get the dough to finish coming together. The woman who wrote the blog was quite emphatic about the fact that this dough needs to be sticky, not to add too much flour. So I'm solving the problem by adding more liquid. little bit more butter because she actually said to use a full half cup, which is a stick of butter. And I put most of a stick of butter in at first. I left off about, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon and a half. And I just put another chunk in, so it's a lot closer to a half cup than a third of a cup. Okay. This would be terrible if it was pastry, but it's not pastry, it's dough. So I'm just learning what is right for dough, for yeast dough. Okay, so I turned the camera off, and then I spent about another 8 minutes doing this. Now I've got this thing. And this is really fun. Oh my goodness. It's doughy. It's stretchy. And it smells so good. It smells alive. It's got the most beautiful color, and look at it. It's starting to definitely have a really great consistency. And it's basically a ball now. Now, if I'd had a stand mixer, yeah, it would have been a lot less work. But this is like, I'm enjoying this. So I'm gonna, and this just looks so beautiful. So it said, when it gets to this point, you should grease a bowl and leave it in it. I think I'm gonna put it on a plate, wash the bowl, grease the bowl, put it in the bowl. I'll be back. So I cleaned out a different bowl and greased it with butter and put the dough in it to rise. I followed the instructions in the recipe to turn the oven on its lowest setting for a couple of minutes just to warm it up, and then put the dough in it to rise. Then I went outside, helped Papa Bear, came back in, did all of the dishes, cleaned everything up, and got everything ready to make the filling, which is what they said to do while the dough's rising. And then they said not to let it rise too long. So I checked it. It hasn't risen. So, still trying to avoid failing. So I warmed the oven back up again and put the dough back in there. And now I'm going to make the filling. So I've got a half a cup of butter in here, softened. And I've got a cup of brown sugar here, well packed, and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. To be honest with you, slightly more than 2. And we combine those to make the filling. Oh, hopefully. I wouldn't say the dough hasn't risen at all, but it hasn't really doubled in size. So I think it's the same thing from earlier today where it just wasn't warm enough. And I have heard that that is often the case. If the dough hasn't risen, it just wasn't warm enough and you have to wait a little bit longer. So I don't know how instant this yeast is. I mean, it's working at all, so I'm not going to complain, but I kind of... I'm just not completely happy. But I'm going to keep trying. Now, it's getting late, and I'm thinking that I don't want to stay up ridiculously late because tomorrow is my last day of vacation. I have to go back to work on Monday. So I think I might do what they suggested, and once I've got them made in the pan, let them rise overnight and bake them in the morning. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Putting the dough back in the oven did not work. I had to put it back over the double boiler again. And we stopped and had dinner. It's been a couple of hours, and it appears to be soft and fluffy and gooey and warm, and so now I'm going to make it into buns. Okay, let's roll out some dough. Now I want to not have too much flour, so I've measured myself a half a cup of flour to roll out with, because I want to keep to an absolute minimum the amount of flour that I add. I'm feeling sort of good about the texture of this. But yeah, it's all about having it very warm. Warmer than I thought. That's what I've learned. Because I had to have... The yeast basically has to be over, like in this kitchen anyway, over simmering water in order to be warm enough. So, okay. Now I'm supposed to roll this out into roughly a rectangle, roughly 24 by roughly 15. So, I don't want to manipulate it too much. It's a lot easier to work with than pastry, I'll tell you that much. So be very careful when you're rolling pastry. Okay. I'm feeling pretty good about that. It's definitely a texture that I'm pleased with. Okay, so let's sort of evenly distribute the filling across the middle, and then I'll spread it out. Now, although I have not made this kind of cinnamon roll, not a cinnamon roll bun, I have been making cinnamon rolls out of leftover pastry since I was a child. My Nana and my mother both taught me to do that. Whenever little bits of pastry that you had left over, you would spread butter and sugar and cinnamon on and roll up. Very much like this. So, I have done something similar to this. It's the yeast dough. That's what I've never done before. At least not successfully. So, that's what this is all about. Okay. And think I'm going to roll this way so that I end up with my roll in the middle of the counter instead of right near the edge. You need to pull towards yourself before you lift, because this dough is springy. It's so different from pastry, which is what I'm used to. So yeah, pull towards yourself and then roll. Pull and roll. Pull and roll. And there we go. I think I'm going to squish this a little bit to try and make it more even. There. Okay. And you hardly used any flour at all. So that's pretty cool. So I've got a 9x13 baking pan, which is what is called for in the recipe. It's the only one that Papa Bear and I could find in the place. And it's not very deep. So I think I'm going to need to get myself a new baking pan. Because if these rise, I'm hoping they do, please, then I'm going to need a deeper pan. But this will have to do for now. And I will put it on a baking sheet, a cookie sheet, when I put it in the oven tomorrow, when I bake it. So that hopefully it doesn't fill the oven up with burnt sugar. Now, I need to cut this in 12. So I'm gonna eye it out, cut it in half, and then cut each half into half. I thought this would do a better job because it's serrated. In the recipe, she said to use dental floss. I suspect that's not as effective. I'm going to try this blade and see how it does. I think that might be a little better. Okay, now I've got 4 quarters, so each of these quarters needs to be cut into 3. And that will give me 12. Oh, this smells good. Yeah, you do squish them down, much like you do when you make cinnamon rolls out of pastry, but they seem to bounce back a little bit. And of course that doesn't happen with pastry. Pastry is not springy. Okay, now I need to put them into the pan. And I think I'm going to put the squished ones in the corners. Okay, so what I've done is I did 3 rows of 4 because the pan's longer than it is wide. And the 2 very end pieces I put right in the center because I figure that way they will get all of the ooey gooey goodness on them from the pieces around, and hopefully this will all fill in. Now, as I said, it's late, so I am going to do what the recipe tells me to do with this to prepare it to be put away overnight. And it says to put it in the refrigerator, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it out. And I normally get up in the night, so I'll check it while I get up, because yeah, they said to put it in the fridge, but I'm discovering that I have to keep this stuff warm or it won't rise. Good morning, Radical Homemakers. It is a good morning because we have not had complete failure yet. So last night, after I had the buns in the pan, they weren't rising. So I put them back over the pot of hot water on the stove, very low heat, and tended them for quite a while. And then I did as I said I was going to do, and I left them out. I'd say at room temperature, but I put a hot plate underneath of them, and I put tea towels and a baking sheet and stuff over them in order to hold the heat in. And when I woke up this morning, I had good news. They rose. So, not complete failure yet, but I'm not there yet. So, we still have a little bit more work to do. This was definitely good to wake up to this morning because, yeah, they filled out the pan. It's completely jam-packed. So, oh my God, you should smell these. They are so yummy smelling. But I'm gonna make some coffee, and I'm gonna warm up the cream. You're supposed to pour a half a cup of cream, heavy cream, over top of them before you put them in the oven, and I have to preheat the oven. So, let's make some coffee. Coffee. I can't drink coffee all the time anymore. It's too powerful on my digestion. So I really only drink it on the weekends anymore. Or like now when I'm on vacation. I don't have to go to work until tomorrow. So I'm going to enjoy it. A little bit of cinnamon. And a heavy cream. Okay, so I've got the oven preheating, and I warmed up a baking pan and put it on top of the stove and put a cutting board on top of it to protect the baking I put a baking sheet in the oven to heat up, put it on top of the oven, put a cutting board on top of it, and then put the baking pan full of buns on top of that to start slightly warming them. Now I'm going to, because it's in a glass pan, I don't want to shock it when I put it in the oven, because it's been at room temperature, but our room temperature in this room is not that warm because I don't like being too warm. So I've got to warm up half a cup of heavy cream. Put it around to the English side. In Canada, everything is half French, half English, so comme il faut, whipping cream. Now, this is a new one because the other one's almost empty. Alrighty. So, half a cup. God, it's beautiful, luscious stuff, isn't it? Now, I've got the heavy cream in here, and I'm going to put it on medium-low heat and get a spatula Okay, yeah, I think that's about the temperature I want. Okay, so let's pour this cream over these, and then we can put them in the oven to bake. Don't waste a drop. Wow, they're definitely going to be moist, particularly since this is heavy cream, which is 35% milk fat, butter fat. Okay, let's put it in the oven. Godspeed, little cinnamon buns. Ooh. Aren't they beautiful? So I put them in to bake for 20 minutes, which is what the recipe called for. Said that they could take up to a half an hour to bake, but to put them in for 20 minutes and then check it. So I did that, and I put it in at the suggested temperature of 375, even though this oven has historically been fast, sometimes as much as 50 degrees fast. But this entire process, this whole time, I have not added enough warmth. Everything's been too cold. So I decided, what the heck? I'm going to put them in at the suggested temperature. So I did that, and I checked them at 20 minutes, and the corners were browning up beautifully. So I covered it with foil, put it back in, and brought the temp down to 350 and gave it another 10 minutes. And now they've cooled for a little bit, and oh my God, you should smell these. They are so wonderful. And yeah, I'm just pleased as punch. So far so good. Now I need to make the cream cheese frosting. Now, she says to use vanilla or maple extract or whatever extract you like. And I only have artificial vanilla, which I use in coffee because, I mean, real vanilla is very expensive. And I've made everything with real ingredients so far. So, I'm actually going to use some orange extract because I think I have some. I have real orange extract, and I think that the contrast between the orange and the cream cheese and the cinnamon and the sweetness and the brown sugar and the yeastiness, I have a feeling that flavor profile is going to be really good. So I'm going to put orange extract in the cream cheese frosting. So that's next. So the cream cheese frosting is relatively simple. It's just 4 ingredients. You soften the cream cheese and the butter, just like you did with everything else. Let them nice and warm so that they can be beaten and combined well together. And then you beat in the powdered sugar and the extract. Details will be provided in the description on this recipe and a link so that you can check out the original blog itself.
I'm looking up from my window. Sun's coming up like the day before. You're like a stone on my pillow. I don't make a sound when I shut the door. You don't have to wake up yet. We can spend all day in bed. I'll put the TV in the room. We'll have a Netflix marathon. Kenny G saxophone. We'll order in a bunch of food. I'll put your favorite music on all the way baritone. Shut the lights, go infrared. We can spend all day in bed. I get the wine and the corkscrew. You don't have to do one single thing. You don't know how much I want you. Just looking at you makes my whole world spin. You don't have to wake up yet. We can spend all day in bed. I'll put the TV in the room. We'll have a Netflix marathon. Kenny G saxophone. We'll order in a bunch of food. I'll put your favorite music on all the way baritone. Shut the lights, go infrared. We can spend all day in bed. I'll put the TV in the room. We'll have a Netflix marathon. Kenny G saxophone. We'll order in a bunch of food. I'll put your favorite music on all the way baritone. Shut the lights, go infrared. We can spend all day in bed.
Okay, so I have the cream cheese frosting completed, and I have to tell you the smell of the orange extract, it's like a million souls of very fresh oranges. It's bright, it doesn't have that slightly rotted smell that you get when you buy orange juice in the store. It's gorgeous. And it smells like it has orange zest in it as well. So it's beautiful, profound orange smell. So I've got the buns here. I don't think I would say that they're completely cooled. They're still slightly warm on the bottom, and they did say to wait to let them cool, but I'm not going to do it. I don't have time, and I want to eat them. So let's frost them. Plus, the thing is I think it might melt better this way. Okay, so this is the tricky part because you can't see the lines between them anymore because of the frosting. So what I'm going to do is take out corner pieces. Ooh, yummy. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, that looks so fantastic. So, this is the moment of truth. Papa Bear tried one. He says it's good. The texture of the dough is good. So, I'm going to try one myself. Got my coffee. Just coffee and a cinnamon bun. Hello. So, looks good. The texture looks good. It's flaky on the outside. You can see where it pulled away from the other pieces. I like to break it apart, peel a chunk off. Here we go. Yep. That is a Cinnabon dupe. Definitely. The only thing that it's missing, and I haven't had a Cinnabon in many years, so this could be in my imagination, is there was a certain crunchiness in it. And I think it might have been from the cinnamon. I'm not entirely sure. But the orange in the cream cheese icing, definitely the right choice. Woo! This is not a failure. I never need to buy cinnamon buns ever again. And there's no seed oils, no hydrogenated shortening, no crap, nothing artificial. because I use the orange extract. I think I might put raisins in them going forward, because I like raisins. Now, in Canada, raisins are a hotly debated topic because the sacred butter tarts sometimes include raisins, sometimes do not include raisins. I'm firmly pro-raisin, although the existence of raisin-hating people means that plain butter tarts can exist. But I'm glad I made these without the raisins, just to give it a try as a comparison. But I've got 2 more packets of yeast and almost everything I need to do this again, so I'm going to be doing this again relatively soon. Well, thank you for coming along with me on this learning adventure. This is hitting 3 of my 3 pillars of how we go about changing the world and changing our life ways and recreating matriarchal cultures. The 3 pillars are get healthy, get independent, and get community. So this is healthier because there's no hydrogenated seed oils or vegetable oil or anything like that in it. There's nothing artificial in it. It's all real ingredients. And although some of them are definitely not as healthy for us, like flour and sugar, at least none of the ingredients are artificial and actively harmful. It has butter and cream cheese and milk and, nothing fake. So there's that. It's get healthy. And it's get independent because I don't have to buy these in the grocery store anymore. I don't have to buy these from Cinnabon and pay $10 a bun for them. Or whatever it is that they're charging now with the prices going so high. It could be more than that nowadays. I have no idea. All I know is they were $5 a bun back in the 80s when I first started eating them. So I'm sure they're a lot higher now. So I'm getting independent and I'm getting community by sharing this process with you. So thank you so much for spending some time with me. And if you like, please like the video. If you think that you might be part of this project, that you might be a radical homemaker who's trying to finally make yourself a true home and you want to join our community, please subscribe. I have a few other videos made. I'm just starting out on this, so there's not a lot there, but I'm working on a whole bunch more. So keep your ears open and your eyes wide open, and hopefully there'll be more coming along. And most importantly of all, as you're going through your life in this crazy, messed up world that we live in our evil and predatory wetico culture, please always remember that I love you.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane.
Thank you for sharing this time with me here on my channel, Rematriate. Rematriate is a Lifeway channel for radical homemakers creating a life made by hand, escaping wetico culture to make ourselves a home. And all of my videos are made entirely by humans, made by hand. This is my pledge of authenticity to you. I never use AI to write or to generate or to voice any of my videos. This video was filmed by Mama Cass Bear, presented by Mama Cass Bear, edited by Mama Cass Bear. The title images at the beginning and end of each video were drawn on paper with pencil crayons by Mama Cass Bear. The music all comes from my monthly subscription to Epidemic Sound and was made by humans. I do not use, and I won't ever use, any of the AI tools that they offer there or that are offered anywhere else. These videos will always be authentic Mama Cass Bear. I'm getting better at making these videos, but I do make loads of mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'm human, just like you are. These videos are about my authentic human story. I make them to express myself and to connect with other humans like you. If you want to join our tiny community of radical homemakers and that journey to a life made by hand, then please subscribe to Rematriate. I look forward to seeing you back here again.